I believe moral sensitivity as an investigator is kind of the essence of the neutrality that an officer or an investigator must have when dealing with a sensitive case. If you're dealing with somebody that maybe have a different religious view than you, or maybe a different sexual orientation than you, or maybe somebody that you're investigating, a fraud in a Republican or a Democratic situation, and you are the opposite party, it is essential that we're sensitive and remain neutral as investigators, because our job is to get the facts and not to input into the investigation our personal thoughts, which will then persuade or change or alter the facts, because we're looking at it based upon our moral point of view, our maybe political affiliation, and our religious belief, and maybe be a little bit biased in that investigation. That's not our job. Our job is to look at the facts, investigate it, be sensitive about the differences that we may personally possess as an investigator in our own personal life, but at the same time we have to investigate that with being neutral and having no opinion or bias one way or the other. Moral motivation, I believe, is something that comes from within a person to have a desire to be professional. An investigator or police officer that is investigating something wants to portray the agency themselves and as a totality of law enforcement, whether it be just the city, whether it be the county or the state. We want to portray ourselves in a very professional manner. And so having that motivation come within your person, your being, I guess down to your soul, and having that desire to be that professional person, making those ethical choices as an investigator, being caring and sensitive about the individual that you're dealing with. Law enforcement terms, sometimes, our backroom talk or in the locker room talk, we say things that kind of are a release for stress for us, that probably aren't the greatest things and may be construed as inappropriate. But when we're out there investigating, we're out there wanting to do the best job possible. As I mentioned, the sensitivity, that motivation must come that we have to portray ourselves in a professional manner. Moral character, again, is probably the foundation of who you are, who we are as police officers, as investigators, as private investigators, in that the character of who you are, how you portray yourself, the professional that you have, the maturity that you have, is that you have to have humility in honoring other people's differences, but at the same time you have to have the courage to make the right decisions. I guess the best example would be if you're an investigator, a police investigator doing an internal affairs investigation, or a private investigator maybe doing something against a company that maybe you get paid to represent. You have to have the courage to report the facts, be honest and open about those facts, and report them and not skew them based upon your own personal bias or your own personal motivation to either protect the officer and or protect the company that you're working for. So having that good, strong character, that even if there's political consequences for yourself, that a good professional investigator is going to report the facts regardless of the outcome. That foundational moral character for an investigator is critically important to, like I mentioned, have humility. Humility in that your ego or the motivation to get an investigation done quickly is not the most important thing. It's to have sensitivity, it's to portray yourself in a professional manner, to gather the facts. But when it comes to a tough decision where you've got to ask the tough questions, or you got to report tough facts, or investigate something that may be the most political situation that you've dealt with, because it may involve the press or the newspapers, or it may involve making somebody you know or how you feel about it, that you want this person to be portrayed in the best light, but what their actions are obviously something different, and it's contrary to your personal feeling that you feel inside about this person. You have to have the courage to report the facts, report the circumstances, ask the tough questions, to conclude your report, and don't let the outcome dictate what you're going to do or how you're going to investigate it, but let the facts present it themselves. And I think with those three things, having moral sensitivity, having a moral motivation to doing the right thing, and having the character, the courage, the humility to do the right thing, you'll be a great investigator, and you'll be on your way to a professional investigation.